Good morning. In this video, I want to do a review of BT Collectibles in Woodstock, Georgia. Um, Dawn, my wife, was having some tests done on her eyes and was going to have dilated eyes, so she could not get over there and back by herself. And I took her to her eye doctor appointment, dropped her off. They said it's going to be a couple of hours. So I'm looking for something to do, and I thought, well, let me see if there's a card shop around here, and there was BT Collectibles. So I went and checked it out, and I'm going to give you a quick overview here. These are actually pictures from the website, their website. They've changed a little bit. It's become more Pokemon focused from what I could tell, because right here there seemed like there was a place to just sit. Now there have tables that are lined up, I'm assuming for Pokemon games. One thing I do want to say, the guys here, there was three guys in the shop. I'm assuming two owners and one gentleman that worked there. Fabulous people, fabulous people. The website said it was veteran owned. I didn't really get a chance to talk to the guys. I know they've been in business, I asked, for 4 years. So I was very happy to find this shop, because anytime I'm in that area, I will go back and check them out. But you can see here, it's like a sitting area. Now it's lined up with tables for, I'm assuming, Pokemon games. Uh, but I was there on a Monday afternoon and the shop was busy. The phone was ringing. People were asking, I could tell just from the conversations, people were asking about different cards. There was a lot of people. I was amazed at the people that walked in the shop looking for Pokemon packs. Uh, but a lot of sports guys too. A guy came in and bought an old 50s Eddie Matthews card while I was there. So you could tell there was a lot of longtime customers coming in and out. Uh, it was a very active shop. The guys were fabulous. When anybody walked in the door, they immediately, it was like, welcome to Moe's. But it was, uh, what are you looking for today? Welcome. What are you looking for today? Glad you're here. What are you looking for today? I walked in, they were in the back of the room. There was nobody there when I first got there, and I heard somebody greet me, but I couldn't even see them until I got back further in the shop. But really, they had the Braves game going from the previous night, and it was good. One of the things I wanted to share, uh, I don't know if you can see it. I guess you can't, but oh yeah, here up here at the top, you can see these are the different Pokemon packs, and this is a large plastic container that holds packs, and you've seen where you just reach in the bottom and pull out packs. You stack them in this container. They were sold out, and people were coming in, as I mentioned, looking for Pokemon, and they said, supposed to be in today, supposed to be in today, supposed to be in today. So obviously they're doing a really good business with Pokemon. But for those of you that watch this channel, I go to the dollar box, I go to the quarter box. I'm looking for cards to try to communicate to people that watch this channel that you can guarantee yourself sports card profits by following systems. If you have patience, if you're willing to do the work, then take your profits and invest your profits. Take a few dollars, keep investing, reinvesting, and I try to give example after example on this channel. So those of you that watch this, I went directly to the 50-cent box, or 3 for $1, what these cards were priced at. And you can see I already have a stack here when I took this picture. But there was three 3,200 count boxes, 50 cents, 3 for $1. Uh, so I was able to get through uh, about almost all three boxes. Dawn, my wife, called me. I was in the last row of the last box, but I had to immediately, check out, go pick her up. I was there probably, I'm going to say, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, just observing. And again, I was beyond impressed with the owners and the workers. Like I went through the two boxes I saw on the shelf, and they had an array of different boxes like this. They had one box that was priced $1 to $25. They had just a $2 box. They had a lot of boxes, but I was in the 50 cents, 3 for $1 box. There was two of them. I went through both of them. Then I got up, I walked to the front of the shop to just look at some accessories, some supplies, just to see what they had, if there was anything I hadn't seen. And then I came back and I was going to pull another box. And one of the owners, I'm assuming the owner, had found another 50-cent box, 3 for $1. He said, and he came up and he told me, he said, I found another box. And I put it on the table for you. And I went up there and there was another box, the third box. I appreciate that. I appreciate him paying attention to what I was looking at and let me just sit there and do what I do. And it was a really, really good experience, good people. And I really appreciate that. So bottom line, I pulled 217 cards, 217 cards. And I walked up to pay, and one guy came up, or the guy, the original, I'm assuming was like one of the owners left, and I'm assuming the other guy was a worker there, and he said, "Will a quarter a card? How's a quarter a card?" So I'm prepared to pay 33 and a third cent or whatever it comes out to per card. He said, "What about 25 cents a card?" And I said, "That'd be great." And then one of the owners comes back and he comes in, I'm assuming an owner, and he walks up, and I don't think he heard our original conversation, but he said, how many cards do you end up with? I said, 217. I said, 217. He said, will 10 cents a card work? Will 10 cents a card work? I said, that would be great. And he said, cash or charge? I said, well, I've got cash. He said, if you got cash, just give me a $20 bill. So it's less than 10 cents a card. I've been in multiple card shops. I was at a card shop here locally. I had like 111 cards. It took a while. Dawn was with me for us to go through that. I brought them up to the counter. I said 111 cards. And the guy starts counting them one by one by one. And I'm saying, you got to be kidding me. He's going to count because I'm ready to go. I'm tired. I've been through these. We're ready to go. We stopped on the way home from somewhere else. We were already tired before we went in there. But that's fine. It's his business. Count out your 111 cards. It was a 50-cent box, I think. So I'm going to pay, I don't, that's fine. And so we're looking around waiting for him to count. He says, you had 112, just like that. And Dawn said, oh, yeah, I put that Bobby Wick card in there. I added that Bobby Wick card. She had a Bobby Wick. I said, okay, 112. And I paid him. Did he offer any kind of discount at all? No. Paid him full price, taxes, everything, fine. Okay, so I'm just contrasting the two experiences. These guys were unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I'll show you. I've already started processing some of these. Those of you that know and follow this channel, you know what we do. But 217 cards, that would have been about $72. I walked out of there for $20. So do you think I'm coming back? Absolutely. Absolutely coming back. And I'll just show you some of what we've already processed. We haven't processed all of these yet. But right now, I've got 18 cards for our dollar box. It shows, and $21 in cards here in our Prices Mark box. Some really good, not great, but solid cards. Again, our whole thing on this channel is make 50% return on your investment. Take that money and buy other things for your collection. Use your profits, not your grocery money. And a lot of people, Dale, I wouldn't sell a 1986 Fleer Ozzie Smith. I don't have time for that. I want to invest in, $100, $200, $300 cards. And I get that. That's fine. But people say, well, you can't make money in sports cards. You lose money in sports cards. It's because you're playing that hot potato game. You're buying that $200 card and hoping to sell it for 220 before the price drops. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love that game. I play that game. But this is where people can start and use the house's money. And there's a lot of Ozzie Smith collectors out there. There's a lot. And there is. And there's a lot of collectors. There's a lot more people that are just collecting than they are. They're player collectors. They're team collectors. They're not into just the making money part of this hobby. So I'm going to wrap it up real quick. I found 3 cards I'm going to add to my collection. I'm starting to put together a collection of pitchers that are batting, just for my own personal collection. I'm looking for cards of pitchers that are batting, because that's going to become obsolete. It already is obsolete, but those cards you will never see again, of pitchers actually batting. If you know any good cards of pitchers batting, put them in the comments. I'd love to see. Love to be looking for them, but that's just my own thing. And then this is an iconic card. I just wanted to add it to my collection. That's Carlton Fisk from the 75 or 76 World Series, where he's jumping down the line trying to keep the home run fair when they were playing my Cincinnati Reds. One of the greatest games in World Series history, without question. And I'll share a quick story, because if you guys remember this game, you'll appreciate this. I heard Sparky Anderson on a interview a few years after that, in that game, and it was a horrific defeat. It was Game 6 of the World Series. The Reds are going to win it, and it goes into extra innings, and Fisk hits his home run. And Sparky was talking about, he was sitting on the front seat of the bus. They were taking the bus back to the hotel, and all these players were coming in, and their heads down, and they're dejected, and they're frustrated, and they can't believe they lost the game. And he said, I'm feeling that way too. It's like we had it in the palm of our hands. And he said, and then here comes Pete Rose, just bebopping, excited, hops on the bus. And Sparky said, I looked at him and I said, what are you so happy about? He said, Pete, we just played in one of the greatest baseball games in history. They'll be talking about this game for the rest of our lives. And Sparky said, yeah, Pete, but we lost. We lost. He said, oh, we'll kick their butt tomorrow night. Don't worry about that, Coach. We got it. We'll kick their butt tomorrow night. That was Pete Rose. But anyway, and then this is from the 1990 World Series game. You got Barry Larkin, Hall of Famer, doing his Ozzie Smith impersonation, and Chris Sabo there. And my brother and I were actually at that game. And I can remember my brother Wade, we're at the game, and the Reds are running out. And he said, did you see Larkin? I said, no. Well, I didn't see what happened. We're looking at everything. He said, he just did an Ozzie Smith flip. I said, really? I said, I missed it. And I ended up seeing it on the news footage that night. But I didn't even know, because I didn't buy any 91 score. Our shop was done by that time. I didn't even know this card existed. I had no idea. I'd never seen it before. So we were at that game. My brother brought it to my attention that Larkin did an Ozzie Smith flip. I remember that time. It was a great summer for us. The Reds winning the World Series. So every time I look at that card, I'll remember my brother and just being at that game. So these 3 cards I added for my personal collection. Just to wrap this up, I can't say enough about BT Collectibles. If you're in the Woodstock, Georgia area, go by, see those guys. It just seemed like they were run by 3 collectors that just loved what they were doing. They appreciated their customers. You could tell their customers appreciated them just in the small time I was there. And great experience. I cannot recommend this shop highly enough. So I hope that helped you. If you're in the Woodstock, Georgia area at any time, go check them out. And we'll talk to you on the next video.